Bass guitar fundamentals. The first thing you need to know is what makes this bass, or that bass right there in front of you, unique. What is the difference? They're all made of the same thing, wood, metal, and some electronics. So what makes it any different than any other bass? So the answer is right there in the word unique. It's U. So right, you spell unique Younique, right? Well, spelling's not my strong point, so don't judge me. All right, but anyways, we've got unique. You are what makes this instrument. You can have this identical instrument, and you are what's going to make it different and unique. And today I've got the fundamentals of bass guitar that will help you create you and express yourself on this instrument as you like to. As long as you have that vision, you can express yourself however you want, and that's what's going to make this thing sound unique to anybody. You can sit there and play, and you want to emulate guys that that have what you want, and mix that all up, and that's going to make you. You're going to be different. You're going to take all of those influences. Every single song you've ever heard in your life is going to come out in your playing in a unique way, and that's what's so great about it. I mean, you can mimic people all day long, and other bassists can mimic other bassists, but to have their own style, that is, even though they do mimic other bassists or emulate them, they still have their own style. They have their own sound. When they're playing their songs, they're going to have their own sound. There's so many things that you can fine tune and make different about this that keeps it interesting. So that's what we're going to get into today. So stick around. So all right, the first fundamental when learning this bass guitar is practice everything 10 times slower than what it's actually played. You have to practice it slower, and you have to really dial that in. I mean, as boring and monotonous as that is, and hard as that, and as difficult as that is to practice slowly, you have to do it. Your mind processes it 10 times better, and you're going to improve 10 times faster by taking it slow at first. And correct. You want to play everything right, because your mind is taking it all in, and you play it slower, your mind has time to process that, and it's going to make everything work better. Your muscle memory, all of that's going to work better when you take everything slow. Do that. Discipline yourself to take it slow. Everything from plucking to your fret hand, everything slow. That's how you're going to learn something. That's how I learn most of my songs, is if there's a fast lick in there, I'll figure the lick out. But then, most time I'll stumble over it a few times before I get it down, and that's how I'll do it. I'll take the metronome and I'll back it down, half of what it's played at, and just play the lick slow. And then I will get it a lot quicker than when I'm playing it at tempo, and I'm just playing along with the song, and I'm trying to get that lick. I'll play it 100 times and still not get it right. So I'll back it down, and I'll wind up only playing it 50 times, and then I've nailed it. I'll have it nailed, and it'll be like second nature. I won't even have to think about it anymore. So that's what you want to do. Take things slow. That is the most important thing to do when you're practicing, is to take it slow, okay? Your mind is just going to take it all in better, and everything's going to come out 10 times better. So number 2 is learn all the notes on your fretboard. Learn them in and out, like the back of your hand. Learn every single note. Anywhere where you're at, you're going to know exactly that note, and you need to know that. You have to know these notes by far, and one trick to doing that is visualizing. You're not going to be, this bass isn't going to be in your lap all day long, so if it is, well, more power to you, and you're fortunate, you're blessed. So if it's not, you can do this when you're at school or something, which if you're in school, or you should probably be paying attention to what lessons you're learning there. But if you got some downtime, or you're just riding, driving along, just visualize. Just picture this fretboard in your head, and picture those notes, all the time, daily, every minute, every hour. Practice visualizing this fretboard in your head, so you can be sure that you're going to learn the notes of the fretboard to where it's not even, it's second nature. You'll know automatically. You're right there at a daggone B. You'll know that that's exactly where it is, and you just know it automatically to where you don't have to think about it. It's automatic. So you don't have to think about it, because that's going to make everything more effective when you go to playing anything. So visualize the fretboard, visualize, visualize, visualize the notes of this fretboard. Nail that first, and that is one of the fundamentals, as well as the taking it slow. So that's an important one that you have to know. You know, there's so many bases out there that don't know that. They're just playing by ear, which is fine. That's one of, I'll talk about that one in a minute also, but you know, that's fine, but you need to know these notes. You need to know where you're at a moment's notice, okay? And that's, you know, that's going to be by the time you put into learning your fretboard and visualizing your fretboard. All right, so number 3 is learn scale patterns. Start off with practicing. Like I said, this goes with the slow part too. You've got to, if you're going to learn these, the best way to learn these patterns is slow. Take them slow. And the most important scale you can learn is the major scale. That pattern right there. And since you know all the frets of the fretboard now, you can concentrate on patterns. I don't recommend learning just patterns, but you got to start somewhere. So you learn these patterns, you build this technique. You know, you build the technique and get used to playing your bass is what you need to build on. So that's going to be, you know, in scale patterns. And the first one I recommend is the major scale. Learn it from top to bottom, okay, all the way across from the low F up to the, you know, the high F. So, you know, learn the major scale and take it slow. And like I said, you know the notes, so know this pattern, you know, scale pattern. This is your basic pattern. Second finger, fourth finger, first finger, second finger, fourth finger, first finger, third finger, fourth finger. That is your standard major scale right there. So take that slow, slow, slow. So learn scale patterns and start with the major scale first. That's your first one, and then go to the minor scales. And you know, you can go to the modes of the major scale. You can go to the blues scale, pentatonic scales. There's thousands of scales out there to learn, to know. Not that you need to know all of them. There's a handful of them that are very important and are utilized a lot in music. And those are your pentatonic scales, your major scale, and your minor scales. So those are a handful of them that definitely start off with those first. Get those down. So slow, 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 scale patterns, fretboard, you know that, you know the notes, so these patterns you're going to know it right there, you're automatically right there, so you're going to know it's A, so you know what's going on here automatically. So these patterns are going to give you the notes, and as you learn those notes, you'll start to pick up some music theory and stuff like that. And do that every single day. Repetition, that is how you're going to pick this up. Slow repetition. It's going to be repetition. The repetition is what's going to make it second nature, to where you don't have to think about it. It's just a repetition. You've done this a million times, so that's like it's going to be second nature. That's what's going to get it in your mind, second nature. And that's what's so important about playing it correct, because if you're playing it incorrect, you're messing up here and there, your mind's taking that in. So now you've got to recorrect it and got to get rid of that, you know, that bad habit you created of playing it wrong. So that's why you take it slow and correct. Okay, so we don't have all day. I could play that as slow as could be, but so that's what you got to do. Play it slow and correct. All right, so we've got slow, we've got learn the notes of this fretboard, we've got scale patterns, learn scale patterns to build your technique correctly and slowly. Play those slowly every single day, repetition. And fourth is going to be ear training. There's nothing more important than your ear training. You can be playing and people play and they're out of tune, they don't even know it. So that's frustrating. That's very frustrating. So get your ear developed by you know, play the note, sing the note, you know, do your solfege or whatever. Sing the note as you play it, and sit down and figure out songs that you enjoy. Figure out the bass lines or the melodies. Figure out anything in that song that you like, but figure out to where you can play it without the radio or the music playing behind it, and you can play it and know what it is you're playing. So ear training is very important. So master your ear training. Maybe master is something that's going to take a lot of time, but get your ear training dialed in, to where you can sing in your mind with, you can hear a melody in your head and you can put it right to the bass, and that's going to help you by far also. So ear training, definitely, like I said, then you'll know when you're out of tune and this and that. You'll hear when you're playing with the band, you'll just hear it as a whole, and you'll be able to hear that somebody's out of tune, and you can help fix that and correct that. You want to be able to correct it. You don't want to just keep playing on and be out of tune. It just doesn't sound good. And another one, number 5, is going to be timing. You're playing out of tune and you're playing out of time. That's just no good. Okay, those are probably 2 worst things. You can play out. Nothing worse than playing with a drummer that can't keep time. That's terrible. And believe me, they're out there. Nothing worse than playing with a bass player that can't keep time, and that's hard. That is hard. So it's something you got to nail down. You just got to work on it. You just got to know, get your metronome. Just know timing, and with playing along with the songs, you're going to get timing and stuff like that. Playing along with other bands, you're going to learn it better. But when you're practicing, make sure you're playing it in time, and just count yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Just make sure you're counting, and you have that tick track going on in your head, that locking in that meter. That's so important. And it's something that will be developed in time, and definitely it's not going to start out with that meter. Some people are born with that. I tell you, my son, he had a knack for rhythm. He was just had a groove going on all the time. He's not musically inclined at all. He had never even picked up an instrument. He played very little of anything, but he just had a good rhythm. I always thought he did, and it was pretty cool. But it's some things come easier to other people, but they all can be developed. So timing, make sure your timing is locked in. You've got that meter going on, so know what's going on, and you can really drive it home if you need to. When you're needed, that bass line, you can pedal that sucker home, and you can push that song along and really drive it, or even lay it back and just change the groove. That's your groove is all about rhythm, so your timing is detrimental to that. So that is number 5, rhythm. So you got rhythm, ear training, scale patterns, practice repetition, fretboard notes, and most important is slow. Start off slow. Do yourself a favor. That's how you're going to improve. If you sit down here and you start playing stuff, I got that scale down. So then you want to do an Yngwie Malmsteen type speed. Then you're just wasting time. You're gonna be clunky all over the place. So that's what's going to happen. So you take that Yngwie Malmsteen line you want to learn, slow, 10 times slower, and 100 times repeating it at that pace. Then just dial it up a little bit and a little bit each time, and you'll get there. But you're going to get there for sure by doing it slowly, and you're going to get there quicker than if you try to play it all fast and just get on with it. You're going to be clunky, and you're going to always be clunky with it. You're learning it clunky, and it's just going to stay clunky. All right, so I hope you got some value out of that. If you did, help me help you. Hit that like button, and I'll catch you all on the flip-flop in the next video. So bye for now.